Hey, Catboy, welcome to the chat. I'll fill up my water and I will be right back. Good to see you, though. Okay. All right. Let's see. All right, we are back once again. Let's see. How's everyone doing tonight? Let me go ahead and get these. Last two documents copied over. Let's not do that. I'm a little low. Let me see. Maybe mic check? How's that? Is that better? Still needs to be higher. Okay. Give me 1 minute. Copy that over. Okay. So that's the right thing. Interesting. I didn't change anything with the mic from last time. Getting room ambience when I turn the volume up loud enough to hear you. Probably the heater. Okay. Catboy, Tad, did you really? Oh my god. No way. Okay, let me try turning the gain up and see if this is any better. Alright, let me know if that's better, Angry Meatball. I'm not really sure why it'd be different today, but, you know, stuff happens. So, it is what it is. But thank you, Catboy Tad, for donating $4, reclaiming your title as Stream Boss. Return of the King. Wow. Whenever before D&D shows up, he's going to be surprised. Holy cow. What a way to start the stream. That's awesome. Thank you. I really appreciate that, Catboy. And it was double helpful that you got rid of Karen D&D. Let's see. Okay. I don't know where in the world my headphones went. Must be a monster lurking about. Either way, welcome to the chat, guys. As usual for a Saturday night, it looks like it's going to be the three of us in the beginning, which is perfectly fine. Really quickly, I want to shout out Aldo's Cowboy and Moist Honey Buns for joining the archive between the stream on Thursday and today. So we are actually need to correct that. I'll just do it next time. We're actually a little bit ahead of the game as far as followers go. We need 13 more people in actuality in order to hit affiliate. So we're making some good progress and should still be able to hit that goal of March 1st. Tonight's theme, as we've talked about all week, is going to be town and city creation, the actual fleshing out. I have one more document to copy over to this one, and then we can get started. Probably go find my headphones real quick. I know, Catboy, I know you got a lot of good ideas. Angry Meatball, you always have good ideas. Let's see. File, open, recent, number 5. There we go. That's the list that I need. So we got quite a few. Oh, up on the Discord already. Perfect. That's what that notification means. Make this the same size. Perfect. We got a whole doc. Perfect. Well, that's interesting. Why did it open it like that? Okay, let's try that again. Huh. Well, that's not good. It's opening up as like a, I don't think it's your fault, I think it's just because of my computer. The file formatting maybe. It's opening up like, I can tell there are words there, but they're covered by like a white overlay. Like as if the words are like a layer behind the white background of the document. Like if you were doing like a Photoshop or something. It's really weird. I've never seen anything like this. It's very interesting and perplexing. I wonder why it would do that. You know what? Let's try to get creative, I guess. There's probably another way I can get this open. Yeah, I'm thinking because it's I'm not really sure. Because there's like a doc format and then there's docx, which is I think what Mac uses. But I didn't think the formatting would, like the formatting shouldn't be that drastically different. Welcome to the chat, Autumn. I am trying to fix a Word document issue, and I will read your comment, but welcome. I do see you are here. It's good to have you back. I'm just try using Google Doc and see if it lets me open it correctly. There we go. Got it. That was way more complicated than it should have been, but I got it, which is all that matters. Oh, wow. Dang, you got a lot of notes in here. This is good stuff. Let's see. What I'm actually going to do, I normally wouldn't copy paste this much text, but just because the Mac is giving me such problems about it, I'm going to put it on this doc as well. Let's just go ahead and close that out. Be here too. Damn, Catboy, you've outdone yourself today. Okay, let me catch up on the comments real quick, and then I'll clean up this doc and we can start going through it. Autumn says, Wood Elves aren't the only inhabitants of the ancient forest around Skogar. It is also the home to Trents, sprites, and fairies, a druidic circle, and beast, both magical and non-magical alike, but is also home to a great terror, a green dragon. Very fitting, very fitting. Okay, so what I'm going to do is we're going to really quickly, what's the most effective way to do this? I'm going to bring this down. And then we're going to do Skogar. So that'll be the first one that we kind of flush out. A bustling port city in order and smile, confederate that lies nestled between. That's cool. Yeah, I really like this. Good job, Catboy. Okay. Alright. So that, I mean, yours is pretty thorough already, Catboy, so I don't know that we're going to have a lot to necessarily add. We can look at each piece individually here in a bit, but what I'm going to do once I get this formatting to stop being dumb, because it likes to be dumb, 20. Okay, so Skoger. Are we thinking that we want Skoger to be before D&D's initial idea, which it was like a druidic circle? A druidic circle of dwarves, or do we want it to be a town? Okay, I gotcha. And that's fine too. I mean, the more detailed, the better, because I'll be honest, the worst case scenario is that you add a detail that I can't use, and then I just change it or remove it, right? Just like anyone else. It's the whole idea is that some of the things that you have in here are going to be perfect to drag and drop, and some things are going to have to be tweaked for the sake of the setting. So there's no problem there. But here's what I'm going to do. While you guys kind of put some notes on Skoger, I'm going to go grab my headphones because I'm not pretty sure I just took them into the bedroom. Probably when I was practicing Rosetta Stone. So I will be right back. Don't go anywhere. Or not starting to see what we're doing. Be right back. Okay. I will be back. Okay. Let's see. Click back on that, and we're back. Talk to us about it, Autumn. What was your somewhat different idea? Right? Always keep in mind that, I say this all the time on the stream, is that your idea, right, like your version of, your version of anything really does not have to be the same end result as what I use, or Catboy uses, or Angry Meatball uses, or even Moonspider uses. Welcome back to the chat, Moonspiders. It's been a few streams, but it's good to have you back. Let's see. Let me message the 7-year-old real quick and let him know that Karen has fallen. Let him know. But yeah, welcome back to the chat, Moonspiders. Good to have everyone here. But yeah, Autumn, it's an open invitation, right? Because we are more than happy to put multiple versions of something. So, Karen has fallen. It's true, Blue. Welcome back to the chat. Catboy Tad is king once again. Stream king. Long may he reign. Really, as long as it's Karen not reigning, I'm okay with that too, to be totally honest. I did end up ordering some more displays. Like we were talking about on Thursday. I ended up ordering that Hollow Knight one. Couldn't resist it. And then I don't know if anyone's watched Yu Yu Hakusho, I got one of those as well. So I'm looking forward to those. Moonspider said, I had a Karen touch my leg at work. I had to grab that blank by her bob cut and body slam her. Wow. Okay. Here's what I'm going to do, because it sounds like we're going to have some... Oh, it's displates. It's D-I-S-P-L-A-T-E. It's like a play on word for displate. Or, like, display, excuse me. Displate is not a play on word of itself. It's a play on word of display. So basically, just metal posters is all they are, Angry Meatball. They just have all of these different designs that you can order, and what's cool is that because they're metal, they use a magnet to hang on the wall. So it's, it doesn't, like damage the wall or anything. And what I like about it, the reason why I keep talking about the concept of like having people, potentially add to the wall is because you can easily take the poster off and rearrange them. So like if someone ordered 2 different posters, it's really easy to get them in the same, configuration. Let's see. Alright, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to put the Autumn edition for Mataris, because it looks like we gotta... I imagine Mataris is the birthplace of all dwarves. I like to think... Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and copy paste this in. So that way everyone can see it. Paste special. Unformatted text. Hey, alright. Fucking figured out how to do it without the white box coming up. I like to think that dwarves were rock and stone before they became flesh and bone, but a great calamity caused their ancient city to become destroyed, and all dwarves changed into what we know today. Draugr mountains, dwarves, and hill dwarves, and any other subspecies, but no one knows that the city still stands far below, has few remnants of its ancient ancestors of the rock dwarves upon which all dwarves originated. That's actually a very cool concept. But yeah, Angry Meatball. It's just cool posters made of metal. They use magnets. I like magnets. I just like the concept of, like not having to damage the wall or, They just look very clean. Angry Meatball says, if you've never damaged a wall with a magnet, you're playing with magnets wrong. Fair enough. Let's see. Can dwarves and elves have babies? I don't see why they couldn't. Right? Not like you're... I mean... Yeah, I don't see any reason why they wouldn't be able to have babies. I wanted a dwarf Atlantis sort of thing. Dwells. I get what you're going for. Like, but what kind of calamity are you thinking in terms of like what actually caused? Because effectively, what you're describing is, you know, like a very rapid evolution. You know, because these other dwarves still exist, just on a smaller capacity. The rock dwarves, I mean. So what do you think caused the transformation? Let me look at this. Half-dwarves, also known as dwelves or half-bloods, were humanoids born through the union of dwarf and another humanoid race. Interesting. Yeah, you really don't hear about half-dwarfs a lot. Or like dwarf mixed race. What? I'm not sure what you're trying to say there, Moon Spiders. It was, okay. But yeah, I do like that concept of the kind of lost city of Atlantis, but for dwarves. Taurus. Oh. A mining town populated largely by dwarves and goblins. The Hilltopple tribe. The town is built inside and under a large hill. Its hallways and buildings carved out of rock. I like that. You're very interested in this concept, Moon Spiders. There's a canon enmity between elves and dwarves, so there hasn't been much opportunity for this kind of mix. Yes, dwarves and elves do not typically get along super well. And yeah, Moon Spiders, at least when you're referring to like D&D, it's going to completely depend on your DM. Because while like everyone else might say no, if your DM says yes, that's all that really matters. I am the DM, answer you. I mean, what are you trying to do, man? Like, let's get a little bit more specific. As a dwarf, who are you trying to have a baby with? Who are you trying to get freaky with? You draw the line at Thrycreen? Thrycreen? Is that how you pronounce it? Or Kren, maybe? Trying to spread my seed the most I can. Well, you know, if that's all you're concerned about, then you really wouldn't care what the result is, you know? I don't think that's the primary objective. When the world was new and the gods were still shaping the world, two brothers created the dwarves. They taught them to love metallurgy and metacraft. They showed them how to make cities far below the surface and watched how they thrived. The dwarves would pay tribute of gold, silver, and gems to the brothers and thanks to the worship, but as centuries passed, they would pay more to the kinder of the brothers, to which the shunned brother resented him and the dwarves he created. I gotcha. Wow. I mean, like, when you put it that way, though, Autumn, I mean, that brother's kind of a dick. You know what I'm saying? Like if that's your response, as opposed to just like maybe be nicer, that's kind of a dick move. Before D&D, welcome to the chat. The queen is dead. Yes, she is. She made it barely into her third stream before the king returned, fathering the next generation of player characters. Yeah, be canon. We'll have a dwarf named Moonspiders, who is effectively the Genghis Khan of, well, not my world, but maybe someone's D&D world. End goal would be to have 13% of the population be able to trace their lineage back to me. 13% is a ludicrous number. No one's got that much, okay? No one's got that much, anything to have 13% of the world. Her reign had to end at some point. Have we tackled the forest yet? Are you talking about Skoger? Because we were kind of talking about that, but not just a little bit up until this point. I just came up with a godly idea. If it's bad, then change it up. Sure, what could change the dwarves? No, I'm not saying it's a bad idea. I'm just saying that, like, objectively speaking, that brother is a dick. So it's nothing in relation to the quality of the idea. Just more so like the dwarves are kind of right. Like, why are they giving so much to him if he's just being an a-hole all the time? And he got so upset about it that he made him unimmortal. I don't know if that's the way you pronounce it. Unimmortal. No, they made them mortal. Probably makes more sense. I don't know. I mean, it just doesn't seem like a nice thing to do. What ideas do you have for the forest before D&D? Wow, you guys filled in pretty quick today. Thanks for joining. It's good to have everyone here. If it's your first time here in the chat or first time here in the stream, well, welcome. Love having you here. And if it's not your first time, welcome back. Appreciate my returning followers as always. But about half races. I love mixed breeds. My campaign has 2 elf princes fighting for their claim after their father died, whilst they're trying to unite the lords under their banners. Their illegitimate half-orc, half-elf brother raises an army of orcs with the promise of making a orc-elf kingdom if he succeeds. Damn. Hey, let's see. Correct me if I pronounce this wrong. Valexian? Hello. Welcome to the chat. Yeah, that I kind of throws me off. Or is it Valley Xeon? I think Valexian makes more sense, maybe. Valigion. Okay. That said, I'm a guy. Okay. Hey, either way. You're here, that's what matters. Moonspider says, I like mixed breeds too. Jesus Christ. Catboy says, so fun fact, 3E had a book with rules for creating all sorts of half-breed races. No way. 3.5 has rules for pregnancy? What? What kind of rules do you need for pregnancy? See, that just seems like too much. It's just too much going on. Alright, so let's do this. We've got quite a few people in here now, which is great. But let us, whoever wants to throw out the first town name from the selection, we'll go ahead and focus in on one of the names here on the list. Obviously, feel free to throw out ideas, and I'll do my best to kind of bounce between them all. But let's kind of like focus in or hone in on one particular region or place and start building it out. Whoever throws out the first suggestion, we'll go ahead and go with that. Trust me, it was dumb. My friend bought the book, and so it was a strange time when we tried to add it to our campaign. I wouldn't recommend using it. Ooh. Yeah, I mean, like... Like, that just seems like did who ran that idea? Like, who sat in a room one day and was like, you know what we need? What's gonna spice up this game and take 3.5 Dungeons and Dragons to the next level? We need rules for pregnancy. As if we don't all generally get the idea. The Book of Erotic Fantasy. Valley Shion says, what kind of rules do you need for pregnancy? Gestation period for Tabaxi versus Elves. Yeah, exactly. I don't really understand. Wow. So we're doing town and city building. Are ideas allowed? Yes, ideas are encouraged. That is kind of the theme of this Twitch stream, is that I sit here, and when it's a little slower and quieter, I've got my notebook, and I'll either be writing in this or typing in the Word doc. But really the goal is to pick a topic and talk to you guys about it. This is a open market, meaning any ideas we come up with are free game for you guys to take and use in your own games. And I do actually have a link to our Discord where a lot of the fine folks here in the chat post great content all the time. But after every stream, whatever we come up with on the Word doc, I actually post into that Discord as well. So it's also not a TSR book, to be clear. Okay. Moonspider says maybe the pregnancy has a lower chance of success depending on the mix. It's so like, yeah, maybe, but that it's so unnecessary. Like, it's ugh. I don't know. I don't want to think about that. Like, I don't want to explain to a player the rules on fucking child success rate if they choose to have sex with any particular race. When the party goes into a magic bookshop and somebody in the back is scribbling on the walls, book keep Henry, we lost another apprentice to the forbidden book section. Henry, that's the third one this week. Scroll on the wall starts magically pulsing, calling out to to the mage's book heap, staring menacingly at the party. No, just no. Catboy Tad says, well, elves are 2 years, but tabaxi are not included. Elves are 2 years? Like their pregnancy lasts for 2 years? And it lists 16 STDs? What the actual fuck? Before D&D says, so another way the forest could be is like a refugee camp for druid dwarves that weren't cast out but didn't weren't cast out but didn't really fit in with the whole mountain and hill dwarves culture. So I'm imagining early Skogul as kind of a refugee camp in the sense that they haven't adapted to the environment yet. Tents and makeshift houses, just dwarves, or if you want to do establish though, then there are multiple different races that have come to the town, and then the houses are integrated with trees. Okay? So that's good that there's a timeline though, right? So that's because then you have history there of how it got started. So eventually it's going to grow into this larger thing that's more accepting of, multiple races, but it starts off as a group of dwarves, or maybe one dwarf that becomes 2, that becomes 3, that becomes, a large selection over time. Skoger. Cool. Moon Spider says pregnancy is gross. I don't know that I would just call it generically gross, but I think the concept of exploring it race by race and in super high level detail in D&D is not necessarily appropriate. Before D&D says, and pulley systems and shit that show that at the end of the day that they are still dwarves and could possibly be another variant of the main dwarf. Yes, can you imagine? Yeah, I can, unfortunately. It just seems like something that somebody would... I don't know. I don't know who would have thought that was a great idea. Yeah, I kind of like that idea before D&D. Not so much calling it like a different dwarf, because if you call it a different dwarf race, then it kind of takes away from the sense of like they're not really outcasts if they're not the same race, you know what I mean? So it makes more sense and sounds like more authentic for it to be like this tribe or group of just a small number of people who still have the heritage of building and being crafty and using their hands, but maybe didn't fit into the mountain lifestyle, and so they kind of build their own little, not mountain retreat, obviously, their forest retreat, and make it their new home. Let's see. Moon Spider says that's badass to the fact that it lists 16 STDs. You would think that's badass. Autumn says Arvad is a fabled city of the Tabaxi people, as well as any other cat-based race. It's a city that was built around an oasis and hidden somewhere in a vast desert. It's fabled because it's a holy city for Tabaxi and cat-like races, so they prevent other races from stepping foot in the city. Once every 19 years during the alignment of 2 moons, many go on a pilgrimage to the city for worship. Okay. I like that. Especially because I feel like Tabaxi don't necessarily get a lot of specific towns or cities, or and then keeping it. Oh, excuse me. Keeping it in a desert is sort of thematic. Hey, what is this? Aiden's Archival Services, ran by Aiden Stormchaser. Hell yeah. This company specializes in information, providing nearly any info for a price, as well as producing textbooks and encyclopedias. Hell yeah, we do. Hell yeah, we do. Pregnancy in D&D should be like DBZ. Time skip, and you have a child halfway into their teens you gotta introduce. Catboy says, hey, now they were 7 or 8. Yeah, I mean, the point isn't wrong, though. Right? Like, in my D&D, my last D&D campaign, one of the players got his girlfriend pregnant. But all that meant is he found out, and then he continued to adventure, and when the campaign was over, the kids were born, and he was a father to twins. Why is the Holy Cat City in the desert? Because why not? And because cats make you think Egypt. I didn't think of that, but now I now agree. Yeah, I mean that's kind of what I was thinking, is if it was a holy city, is that it was like not necessarily an Egypt reference specifically, but related. I'd like to point out that the list includes vampirism, lycanthropy, ghoul fever, and mummy rot. You can get vampirism from... Cheers. Can't think of any cats off the top of my head that live in deserts. Doesn't seem like the biome for most cats. No, not stereotypically, right? Like, but it's more so the religious aspect. The fact that that like in ancient Egypt, most like cats were worshipped as like just in general they were worshipped. Let's see. Okay. Black-footed cat. Oh, there's a Wikipedia link. Hey, sand cats. Hey, evolution is a miracle, you know? Autumn says, somehow I feel like that's ridiculous. I'm a vampire now after a one-night stand. Did she bite you? No. Then how? Well, I have no idea. I mean... Yeah, I'm not going to try to explain it. It doesn't make sense to me either. Ugh. Cats lived in ancient Egypt because they were large, developed cities for them to hunt mice in. Yeah, well, maybe they have, maybe it's a large, developed city. I don't know. Angry Meatball, you know the rule. If you're not fond of the idea, just move it somewhere else. But I do like the idea of a holy tabaxi city. I'm just asking questions. Go for it. Cats were also considered holy creatures too. Yes, they were. If you're not fond of the idea, please let them know and fight about it. Yeah, that's definitely not how this works. There are no fights in the archive. And Angry Meatball isn't even trying to fight. He's just observing and asking questions. That's how good ideas come about. Stop being an instigator, Moon Spiders. You always shit talking. Interesting. Sand cats. The more you know. See, we not only create great world building ideas on this stream, we learn more about the world that we already live in. It's quite nice. Had my headphones on for however long it's been since I got them. Never put on a song. It's just nothing going on. Nothing going on in here. Sometimes I'm an idiot. Lol. Yeah, that's a pretty big lol. I deserve that one. These are just for show. They don't even work. Just make me look cool. Barely. So before D&D, for your Skoger idea, what time frame would you put it in the world? What do you think is more interesting to explore? Them as the refugee camp or them as the fully fleshed out civilization? What do I need right now for ideas? This is the list right here. So these are all the city names. So basically, if you see one that you want to expand upon, then anything, and then we'll start deep diving into it. Right? Like, there are a couple of memey ones on here, but there's nothing wrong with that. Or even if you have other names that you'd like to add to the list, we can add those. Because if they don't get used this time, they will likely be used in a future stream. Also, to that point, next week's deep dive will be on monsters, or creatures in general. Thanks to It's True Blue's recommendation from last week. So, if you are interested in creating some monsters or creatures to throw into your next D&D campaign, make sure to stay tuned. Dang, I went through that kind of fast. But yeah, Moon Spiders. Either throw out name suggestions, or if you see a name that you like to expand upon, you can throw out those ideas as well. What city intrigues you the most? I mean, honestly, I kind of like, I'm interested in working on the idea for Jabbertown. As cheesy as it sounds, working on just this concept. I like the concept that everyone in the town is mute, and how difficult of a role-playing challenge that would be, and maybe how they get around it. What city do you want to start your party in? That is a great question that I have not completely decided on. Because the campaign doesn't start for about another 6 or 7 months. Well, no, not that long. 5 months. It's going to be 5 months. Yeah. So I'm not sure what city I want to start them in. Probably a relatively plain city by comparison to these, right? Just to introduce some of the plot hooks and really focus more in on the characters in the beginning is how I like to do things, but I like having an assortment of kind of unique locales, like just quirky places, you know, for my peeps to go. You remember that NPC that talks way too fucking loud? Yes, I remember her. The guard captain. Out her in Jabbertown? I mean, they're mute, not deaf. They can hear her. They just can't talk. Uh, I can help build a town if you give me a location and give me brief details like race, population, geography, etc. Sure. I mean, so the let's see. I mean, whatever town they start in is going to be relatively tame, like I said. So it's going to be low diversity, meaning like it's going to be more of the traditional humanoid races for the most part. Human, elf, dwarf. Not a lot of the more exotic races in the beginning. And then those will slowly start to be introduced as they make their way further into the world. It's going to be a smaller town. I'd probably say like at max 100, probably somewhere between 75 to 100 people. So a large town, but still small in the scheme of a population. Geography. I'm not sure about geography. Well, it's going to be towards the northeast portion of the continent, that's for sure. Not quite a port town, but a little bit further towards the center of the continent. Port city, crescent shaped harbor. The further south you go, the slimier the city becomes. Crescent is not large. The city is walled, mixed town. Orcs, humans, and elves alike wander the streets because of the bustling economy brought by the successful trading that goes through the city ports. So I'm assuming Port City is just a placeholder name, or you're just using the full crescent-shaped harbor. I like that. That is actually pretty good, Moon Spiders. That's actually very interesting. The Jabbernackarian are a peculiar race, a race of small Cyclopses, a tiny bit shorter than halflings. They don't use their mouths for talking as they lack vocal cords. Instead, they communicate by facial expressions, hand signals, and telepathy as they are psionically inclined. Okay, I like it. Small Cyclopses, so they only have one eye. Interesting. Damn. I mean, we already started with a lot of content. Because of the king himself, Catboy Tag. But there's already a lot of info on the stock outside of that too. Yeah, it does sound cool. Our Cyclops. So, to quick aside, are Cyclopses in D&D? Because I've never actually used a Cyclops as a creature. Are Cyclopses psionically inclined typically? No. Okay. Well, I mean, they'll just create an interesting piece of lore and history, right? Like either A if they were, or B if they're not, with the what caused that, right? Like, because a Cyclops would normally have vocal cords. I'm thinking of like some just super crazy out there backstory where you have like, you know, I always love using mind flayers for stuff, but that's the easy one. You have like a creature type like mind flayers where maybe they abducted some Cyclopses and experimented on them. Um, yeah, for sure. That's a good call, Catboy. Here, let me put that at the bottom as a note so I will remember. Call them mini Cyclops race. Might have been built like we homunculi. Yeah, like there's some interesting concepts that come to my mind, especially because of the fact that they are um, not only Cyclops, which is kind of just an interesting race already, but the fact that they're psionic. So I'll put that on there. But good call out, Catboy. I lagged out. I'm giving you a concept to work with, rather than being so specific. Yeah, that's fine. That's good, right? Because at the end of the day, and I've said it a million times. I'm gonna say it 100 million more, right? There are gonna be parts to your guys' concepts that will not work in my campaign. Like it is what it is. But that's not what's important, because at the end of the day, I'm not the only one who should be using these concepts, which is why, we have a Discord and the doc goes in the Discord. And so anyone can take these ideas and drag and drop them if they work. They can change them if they don't. They can not use them if they completely don't work, right? So be as specific or vague as you want, because if you're vague and I fill in the details, that's cool. If you're super specific and I gotta change the details, that's cool too. If you're super specific and it works out perfectly, then great. I know it's good. Yeah, I mean it's pretty good. I'm not gonna front. It is a pretty good concept. I must have been thirsty. I don't normally go through my water that fast. So, let me see real quick. Korea. Yeah, boy, I love the amount of detail you use for these things. But it's just like, it helps get my creative juices flowing. So I appreciate it. Aiden's Archival Services, I love that. I mean, you don't have to put detail into every single one. Damn, I mean, look at this. Look at this. Right? Here's, I'm talking about the average. All right, I'm not saying every single thing you do's got a ton of detail, but it's got enough. Because sometimes that's all you need. All you need is it's a town with elves. I'm open to either. Like I said, you can bring as much or as little detail as you like, Autumn. If you have the detail, throw it in there because there's nothing wrong with it. There's plenty of people in the Discord. I'm actually surprised how many people are in the Discord. Give me a random town and I'll spend a full day working on it. Okay. You want like a funny one or you want something serious? Because if you want a funny one, I want you to work on Old Jersey. If you want something a little bit more serious, anyone you give me. Well, I mean, you already started on Jabbertown, so why don't you do that if you want to do a write-up for Jabbertown? Because you already had the idea for the Cyclops, and then we'll work on the actual race as part of the monster build-out next week. How well would the muteness of Jabbertown be? I'm imagining a version of Jabbertown where, like maybe it isn't the Cyclops. It doesn't have to be the same name, but I kind of want there to be a version of Jabbertown where the muteness is super well known and there isn't a super convenient workaround for it, right? Like, you know what I mean? Like, because if they have telepathy, if I can just talk to you in my mind, which is theoretically more convenient than having to use my mouth already, then it's not really a disability. Outside of like magical implications, like obviously they can't use verbal spells unless you can do that through telepathy in your setting. But I would say that a version of Jabbertown that is more traditional would be super well known, right? Because like that's like an interesting place. Don't talk about Jabbertown. You literally can't talk about Jabbertown in Jabbertown. Okay, I'm gonna be right back. You guys keep posting ideas. I'm gonna fill up my water real quick. Went through that way too fast. BRB. back. Okay, let me get caught up here real quick. Adam says, well, I want to add the fact that Jabbernakians get the name Jabbertown because they have ADHD when it comes to topics. They're telepathic and they speak and understand one another, but foreigners can't understand them because they think so fast and have developed the ability to talk or communicate by thinking of two conversations at the same time. Imagine talking to someone and they're able to speak as if you were talking to two people at the same time. That would be that would be terrible. I mean, it does make the name fit more, for sure. When Spider says, you seem like a nice person. Yeah, I couldn't imagine talking to someone who's talking as if they're two people, like at the same time. Like, I feel like most people would have to make like some kind of saving throw just to even be able to process that. You know, not only is it odd for most people to have someone talk to them telepathically, but they're getting hit with two voices at the same time. Assuming they're only talking to one Jabbernakian. That's intense. Okay, before D&D says, okay, so hear me out. Two neighboring towns. They aren't very big and are in the middle of nowhere, so people don't pay much attention to them. One town is full of goblins, and the other town is full of gnomes. And it's straight mafia-like warfare between the towns. Drive-bys messing up the supply lines, the whole 9 yards. And the clerics just revive everyone after each battle. The war had caused them to upgrade their tech to insane levels, but they only use it on each other and don't give it to outsiders. That sounds like... Hey! Chicken Butt 431, welcome back. That's a blast from the past right there, man. It's been like a week and a half, 2 weeks. How are you doing? Before D&D, I'm gonna be honest with you. No, I don't dig that idea. Autumn says, "Did you hear that merchant down the street was robbed? I heard that there is an increasing amount of orc activities lately. Sounds scary." Like, I have no problem with you having opposing factions like that before D&D, but that's just too... Like, it's too much. That's how you always end up over baking the idea till it gets burnt, you know? Like, I love the idea of gnomes and goblins fighting, right? Whether you call them towns or raiders or whatever, that's fine. Good idea. You could even have them historically do battle with each other. Perfectly fine. But drive-bys like the Mafia, bro? It's not a town anymore. I tried to write as if two sentences were spoken at the same time, but it's difficult. Yeah, it should be extremely difficult. It's like two... That's a lot. Chicken Butt, I don't know if you even noticed that you were the, like, title to one of my videos from the last time you were in the stream. But Oh, that's fresh. It's good to have you back. Angry Meatball says, having not read the posted document, sorry, Catboy, I'm in a bit of state today. I have only two ideas at present. A, the wandering nomad town, Scythians, and B, the mining town carved into the quarry, workers walking down the spiral road from their stone homes to mine each day. Because of because of your homeless person idea, I think. No, it was the summoning idea. It was when you were here in the first stream. We were talking about your summoning class that you were working on, and someone mentioned that it was kind of like Pokemon. And I think I titled that video, "I choose you." I choose you, Chicken Butt 431. I think is what I ended up titling that stream. Okay, let me go ahead and find a good spot to throw this info in. It's a lot of data. Let's do that real quick. Yeah, I try to make the stream titles as topical to the stream as I can, and you were very influential on that stream. For sure. We had a lot of fun working with you on your idea, so. Autumn says, what Moon doesn't know is that I spend a lot of my time watching them from their window. I sneak into their house and steal hair from the shower drain and tune down clippings from the trash. I even recently dug out a half-eaten sandwich that I savored. Okay. Hey, well, good for you, Autumn. I'm glad that. I don't know what the fuck. Miss Spider says that's so fucking hot. Yeah, you would say some shit like that. And yes, Chicken Butt 431, you are very popular. Your mom should be proud. I think my fave title is "Good is Not Evil." Oh my god, this shit was so good. Let's see. Before D&D says, okay, so what if we scrap the tech and drive-bys but make the leaders have Italian last names and their title is The Godfather and they have Italian accents? I mean, there's nothing wrong with that, I guess. It's not, like, it's like you're trying to make it serious and then you throw a meme in there, right? Because like it's like you want these towns to be relatively insignificant, but then you make them significant, right? If you want them to be insignificant, like if it's two towns that are close that are feuding with each other, and people know they're feuding, like there doesn't have to be much more to it than that. And their history shouldn't be the same. Like, why would both towns call themselves the Godfather? Is that why they're fighting? Plus, just after the week nailed out the foundations of the class. Hey, good job. Glad to hear it. I don't know if you're already in the Discord, Chicken Butt, but if you are, well, either way, if you're not, join the Discord. The link should be on my stream, and post it so we can, look at it if you're so inclined. This was a genuine question. I know this may be off topic, but how do I choose encounters for my players? Like, how do I know this is too tough? Autumn says, ooh, my god, I want to make The Godfather. Okay, see that makes sense. The Godfather. Like if you were gonna make a Goblin Mafia, makes sense, right? But it's not so intrinsically tied to this other town. You know, you make the Mafia a problem for the Gnome Town, not two towns fighting with each other. Um, we will get to your question in just a moment. Chicken Butt 431. Don't think I'm ignoring you. That's just a lot to unpack. I'm trying to catch up on the chat real quick. Angry Meatball says, I've had success running a politics-heavy game around interacting with the Mafia. Yeah, exactly. A Goblin Mafia would be a cool concept. Because they were once one town and they were family, but they're not the same race. Which doesn't necessarily matter, but you're going to have a tougher time explaining the logistics of that, right? Because you're starting the history off with there's no divide, right? Like they're goblins and gnomes, but they live together in harmony. But after the divide, the goblins went one way and the gnomes went another, right? Catboy says, I use the encounter building rules in the DMG, except I treat hard as the default and deadly as hard. Okay. You're good, and thanks, Catboy. Wow, someone is racist. How is that racist? Like, what's racist about that? Am I wrong? If you had a town of black and white people that lived together in harmony, and one day they got in a fight and all the black people went one way and the white people went another, wouldn't that need explaining? Right? If they were in such harmony, why did all of the same race go in different directions? Autumn says, it depends what kind of encounter, what you want, Mr. Butt. Don't call him Mr. Butt. Oh my god. It's Mr. Chicken. Or Mr. 431. Like, how strong is your party? What do you want them to fight? How many of them are there? And do you want to add minions? Yeah, it really comes down to how difficult you want to make the encounter for your party. I definitely recommend using the rules in the DMG, like Catboy alluded to. But each encounter should hopefully feel unique, right? So that's the most important thing, is trying to add, at least to me, add new and interesting like nuances to how your players are interacting with the combat. Because if it's just difficult, because the monster does more damage or has more health or, those kind of things, that'll be interesting at times, but not if that's every fight. So the first thing is trying to understand what you want the challenge for your party to overcome to be. Do you want them to overcome a big health pool? Do you want them to overcome something that's immune to the way that they normally fight, or resistant to the way that they normally fight, or requires a different approach, right? So Moonspider says D&D is racist. It suggests some races are better than others. That's why they're reworking these books, apparently. Before D&D says, let me think on this. Yeah, you go ahead and think. Take your time. We still got, 2.5 hours. We're not going anywhere. And you need to think. So. Angry Meatball says that he would agree with Catboy. The math for 5e only works correctly if the players have no magic items. So that if they have access to magic items, you need to turn up the difficulty up. You need to turn the difficulty up to try to equalize. There's only 3 right now. And Catboy says, my players have been very good at getting through encounters that should be deadly. Okay. Yeah, another thing to consider is if you want to do anything that is your own homebrewed content, like give any of your own magic items or your own abilities or something that's just not in the core rules. or in the core books to your players, then you should be trying to ratchet up the difficulty to a certain amount, because those things will quickly unbalance the standard version of the rules. But Angry Meatball makes a great point that it is only mathematically accurate if they have basically nothing. Autumn says, like, I ran an encounter that was designed for my party to meet a tribal warlord and his direwolf, so I designed it with the tribal chief and a direwolf. Then I added tribal warriors to the encounter until I felt like it would be enough for them to handle if they fought, but also enough that it should deter them from trying to fight them head on. And your meatball says, the best way to know how to error correct is experience, so just try things out. If your players trust you, there shouldn't be any real issues. And that is the best advice. Experience is the best teacher. And ultimately, right, it comes back to, it's about how you want to run your game and your encounters, which is going to be difficult to say until you have the experience under your belt to be confident in what you want to do and how you want to challenge your players. But yeah. Autumn says, I also then added a second character as the chieftain champion that would offer a one-on-one trial that helped progress the story if they preferred a non-violent solution. And when it comes to a dungeon, I like to have a mix of hard encounters, a couple medium, and typically ending with a deadly one. Yep. Save the best for last. Usually, at least. Moonspire says, what's your logo? Where did it come from? If you are referring to my logo, it should be a drawing that a friend of mine, she had her sister draw it for my birthday last year and made me a shirt out of it. So it's a drawing of Aiden. Sick AF. Yeah, Aiden is pretty sick. It was a very nice gift. It was funny too because the shirt was like very tight to fit, and I was it's a little bit on the heavier side when I got the gift, so I actually couldn't wear it until I started working out. It was good encouragement for me to work out. You could see my nips. I mean, doesn't sound like you're complaining about it. So, ab reveal. When I have abs, I'll do the ab reveal if the chat wants to see it. But you guys are gonna be waiting a long time. I might make a Twitch partner before I have an ab reveal. Oh hell no. You don't see just a stomach, that's what you're going to see. But yeah, to that point, the follower goal is down by 2 because we had 2 people join the stream, join the archive, as it were, in between streams. So once again, we have 13 followers we need in order to get the archive to affiliate. So if you are here, enjoying what you're seeing, enjoying the banter, the world building, the lore, the nonsense, all of the above, make sure you hit that follow button so you can get notified on our next stream. We stream Monday, Wednesday, and Saturday from 8 p.m. Central to midnight Central Time. And if you're already following, or you can think of anyone who might enjoy this content, make sure to share it with them. We're so close, guys. 13 people. We've already made it to 37. It's insane. Any recommendations for a encounter for 3 level 5s? It would depend on the context. Cowboy says, though I did make one that could start with a deadly one with half dungeon happens if the party runs in guns blazing, a series of medium ones if they be stealthy. Yeah, it's always fair to change up the encounters. Bugbears are tough. They're not very tough when you're level 5 in most situations. Tropical island, like think of Hawaii. How many sessions are you into your campaign, Chicken Butt? Before D&D says, have a party of level 5 NPCs run their shit. A cleric, a barbarian, and a fighter. None made the story during the beginning encounters. Okay, I got you. Yeah, I mean, if you're starting them at level 5, then these are already pretty established fighters, right? Like, level 5 is essentially when your players go from nobodies to heroes, right? Like, in terms of the world scaling aspect, a level 5 person is, like, way above the norm. Um, So before D&D's suggestion isn't actually a bad one, is having an encounter where maybe they fight an opposing force that's just, you know, even if not maybe a little bit stronger than them. It's not always a good idea to run your party shit too often, but done the right way, it can be an effective reminder of how big the world is. Especially if you're going to have a payoff to it later on. Moon Spiders, did you screenshot my be right back and then thumbs down it in the Discord? I don't know why I'm asking it, like I don't see that you did it. Bro. You were too extra. You're utterly ridiculous sometimes. Ooh, dinosaurs. Dinosaurs would be an interesting one. Yeah, a close fight would be good. Your favorite dino? Yeah, what's everyone's favorite dinosaur? While we're on the subject. Oh God. Yeah, the dinosaur with 5,000 teeth. Don't put that in Google. Hey, it's True Blue. Their arms are too cute. I don't know that I have a favorite dinosaur, honestly. Stegosaurus is a pretty solid saurus. You got that right. Autumn says everyone knew the North Old Jersey was old turf, and we made sure everyone knew it. Anyone who tried to do business in our territory answered to the Godfather. No one asked questions when a halfling was found dead in some alley, or if an accidental fire broke out an unprotected shop. Besides, the hobgoblin police force is considered even more corrupted than us. Damn. That's got a lot of flavor. I like that. Old Jersey, home of the Godfather. Hell yeah. I like that. Ooh, shit. Everyone knew. Why the fuck is it doing that? Oh no. Cowboy, you did it. Oh no. God damn it. Oh no. Old Jersey mob town with different gangster families. Yeah, I like that. I like the idea that like maybe it's a gnome town primarily, but then this like maybe handful of mob goblin families show up, or even it's one in the beginning and it splinters off through feuds or whatever. But I like that. And then they got the hobgoblin police, the Godfather. That would be fun to role play. I'm gonna have to rewatch a few mob movies and I'll give you a full town description. Sounds good. Take your time. You got you got plenty of time. I googled worst things. That's fair. I mean, it's not the end of the world, but it's definitely a twist. Definitely not what most people expect when they hit that Google search. Oh man, is it really almost 10 already? What the fuck? Okay. I really like that concept though. Autumn, welcome to the archive. You're making a name for yourself already as an archivist. Okay, I'll look at it right now. Of course. I'll read that right now. Make this a little bit bigger. A gleaming metropolis visible for miles. This capital city is referred to as the Diamond of the Plain. It is famous for being impregnable to attack despite its utter lack of defensive fortifications or any kind of standard army. Through many wars, the city remained untouched, even when the rest of the nation was heavily affected. Alright. I dig it. I dig it so far. The city is an impressive sight for both up close and afar. Approaching the city, the first sight to behold is the great central spire that sits atop the palace's dome. Drawing closer, the four towers that mark the corners of the palace's outer wall come into view, standing nearly as tall as the central spire. Soon after, the rest of the city comes into view, a shining spectacle unlike any other in the material plane. The buildings are uniform, white color, their roofs seemingly tiled with gold. These streets are brick, but the ride over them is completely smooth with no bumps whatsoever. Damn. Hold on 1 second. Un momento. Okay. Get off your phone and pay attention to us. I'm sorry. Funny enough, I was actually texting you, idiota. Because you took a long ass time to respond to my question. Let's see. Once inside the city, the complete cleanliness of the city will become apparent, and it's not so much that things are clean, but that nothing ever gets dirty. Okay? Careful observation will reveal this to be the case. Spilled fluids disappear, broken items fix themselves, dropped possessions return to their owner's grasp, and accidental fires never occur. In addition, theft and other such crimes are virtually unheard of within the city's bounds, since items that enter another's possession without the owner's consent immediately return, and most find any sort of violence impossible. Okay, I'm starting to get the theme of how the how it hasn't fallen so far. Violent actions generally only occur in one of two situations: a guardsman preventing a crime, what few happen, or when all involved parties have agreed to such action, such as a boxing ring. There are obviously magical effects, but not due to any spells or arcane artifacts as many believe. Instead, it's due to the nation's king, Damon I, a god who retained his position in the material plane long after his ascension. His power is also the reason that Diapolis has never been attacked or invaded, as Damon's very presence protects the city. As can be expected, this has a significant impact on the populace, which will be covered below. Do you have a girlfriend? If so, would you cheat on her with a fan? What the fuck? First of all, you know that I don't have a girlfriend. And no, I wouldn't cheat on her with a fan. Are you asking me to cheat on her with you? Is that why you're asking? Because, you know. You're cute, but it's not, you know, it's not for me. It's true, because my God is the right reaction to that question. Oh my God. The city sounds like a hellscape. The forced utopia, I like the concept, to be honest. Before D&D says, I'm right here, and Catboy says, I doubt he's dating a little kid. You would be right. I am, in fact, not dating children at this time, nor do I have any plans to. Oh yeah, I bet your players hated it. They can't fuck around and steal something or do anything without consent, you know? It's like... How did you introduce this to your players? Like, what was their reason for coming here? Because this seems like the kind of place that situation would have been fairly, like, well telegraphed. So did they stumble upon it? Or did they have, like, a quest that they had to go to the city for? Because that's how I would play it. Is that there's something that they have to do in the city that kind of forces them, because they're not going to want to be there long. Not at all. Okay, I'm reading that first detail. Let me go ahead and read this. Before giving, trading, selling, or otherwise transferring items from one person's possession to another, all involved in transferring property must say a short phrase that indicates they are giving up the items in question. Typically, this is some variation of "I freely give this to you." Jesus. When individuals engage in mutually agreed upon violent acts, they must first clearly state their acceptance of involvement as such. I allow you to bring unto me as I am allowed to bring unto you. If someone manages to hurt another without mutual consent, anyone may hurt that person until the next time they fall unconscious. Doing so does not further trigger this effect. Jesus. In general, locals do not worry much about spills or other messes due to them being cleaned up immediately. Also, they do not fear violence or theft, and threats as such are typically laughed off. Okay. Conversely, locals tend to be lulled to leave the bounds of the city, often becoming fearful at the prospect. Also very logical. Locals love stories from outsiders, usually gathered quickly around travelers telling of their journeys. Those who deign to leave the city are looked upon as brave individuals no matter the distance they traveled away. Punching a drunk cunt in the face is my right as another drunk cunt, and any city that makes it physically impossible is unendorsable. That's not what he's doing, Angry Meatball. All you have to do is verbally say that you want to punch the drunk cunt, and he just has to say that he wants to let you punch him, you know? Like, that's all. They were actually traveling to Mage Haven, which can only be reached by teleportation, and they had to go. Okay, so they had to go to the city, so it was in a way a MacGuffin to get to their actual goal. Very good. Yo, me and Catboy are hanging in the chat. Oh, you mean in the Discord? I had noticed earlier that you were in the voice chat. That's cool. What? They killed the god? Otto says, Old Jersey is our town, and by our, I mean Goblin Town. Don't let anyone kid you by thinking it's run by gnomes. Well, I mean, on the surface, yeah, maybe, but down below and on the streets, we run the town. The Lord and the Mayor are gnomes, but we managed to get a hobgoblin elected as the police force captain. Sure, some people tried to prevent this, but when those same people disappeared, no one asked questions afterward. I think I'm gonna love this. Yeah. You're writing it from the perspective of the Godfather? Oh, okay. They didn't do it, but they didn't help solve the problem either. This sounds about right. Okay. I'm writing on the perspective of lowly thug, a part of the Godfather's crew. Makes sense. I dig it. I really dig it, actually. Let me go ahead and add this in there. Yeah, I'd have to figure out how to work the mechanics of that into the world. Kind of like we talked about before with the gods being different. It would be a little little interesting problem to solve, but I like. I like having at least one city that the players hate going to. You know, there's got to be somewhere that they're not looking forward to going, but they gotta go anyways. Otherwise, it's the fun in that. They like everywhere they go. It makes everything a little bit more boring. Yeah, sure is. We're almost 2 hours in. I see that some of our regular lurkers have returned. Welcome back, regular lurkers. We love having you here in the chat all the same. If you guys feel like dropping something, go for it. We're nice here for the most part. Moonspires is a little questionable, but the rest of us are pretty nice. I guess I don't need the part where you say that you think you're gonna love writing it. Autumn says, I'm designing a tiefling bar where there are drinks and food on the surface, but business and gambling down below. I want to write something akin to the John Wick Continental, where the god mob can go, where it's guaranteed neutral grounds. I gotcha. It's kind of cool. How big of a town are you thinking Old Jersey's gonna be? Right, like, is it a larger city? Because if it feels like it would have to be at that point. I was gonna write a larger city. Yeah, that would make sense. It kind of have to be. I think I know actually where I would put this in my setting. The Godfather. Is it a whole island? Is what a whole island? Old Jersey? I'm gonna take inspiration from Gangs of New York and some mob movies. Do it. Oh, wait. You put all alone in order to get people to join you. Moon spiders. So how's everyone doing tonight? I think we just hit the halfway point. Yeah, just about the halfway point of the stream. Everyone doing okay today? Everyone having a good Saturday? Jersey is an island in the channel. Yeah, I know. It just took me a second to get what you were saying at first. But you are absolutely right. Chicken Butt 431. If you're out there, do you have a link for your write up? I still want to see it. If you feel like sharing. If not, that's fine too. Just let us know. Pirate City? What name did you want to use for the pirate city? Like Tortuga in Pirates of the Caribbean. What are you booing, Moon Spiders? Do you not like pirates? What would you call this pirate city before D&D? Catboy likes Mexicans. Bro, what are you doing right now, man? BBL. What are you doing, bro? What are you doing right now? Being super baked, apparently. Big booty Latinas, like what's wrong with that? I don't see the problem. Bro, we're vibing. Hey guys, you hear that? Apparently they're in the Discord vibing. Hello? What's that? I had to go ahead and join this lobby. I know. I'm good. How are you? Yeah, he. Where have you been? He's been the stream boss like the majority of the time. So why are y'all talking about? Go ahead. Oh yeah, you definitely have. I'm glad that you're king again, as opposed to, huh? Uh, yeah, we can call him that. I mean, it was an accident too. He actually. This is what the stream is now, huh? No, not really, Angry Meatball, but you know, I figured the fact that Catboy was in here meant I should at least say hello. So anyone who does want to join this call and actually say hi for a few minutes, I'm not opposed to it. What is wrong with you, man? Is that what you said? Yeah, because I mean, I thought you would. I don't. I don't. Not at all. I wouldn't have believed it. I've known this guy long enough that I know 90% of what he says is full of shit. So. But yeah. I'm a Mexican. Bro, what is wrong with you? In my chat. Why do you gotta do it? Can you not control yourself? You can do that then? Okay. That's true. Autumn says that Bloody Nobody is Zugwuk. Zug was once an associate of ours. They called him the Jabberwocky. I once saw Zug kill a bugbear with a quill. A freaking quill. Before D&D says I'll join if Angry Meatball joins. I need a voice reveal. Yeah, that's why. I mean, that's why I joined. I was a little concerned that it might be too distracting to try to do both, but But, like, I couldn't pass up the opportunity for the voice reveal, You guys get to hear my voice every time. Yeah, so. And what do we have voice channels for if we're never going to use them? Are you guys, to that point, are you guys hearing me twice? I'll just. Okay, fair enough. Yeah, fair enough. Makes sense. Trust me, it won't ruin your image of him. You'll just confirm that he's a 7-year-old based on the voice. Sorry, lads, I've got no microphone to use just now. No problem. It doesn't matter. If I put it to you like this way, I don't think Angry Meatball would lie about that, and if he feels like he needs to lie about it, then that means he really just doesn't want to get on to talk. So that's fine. I'm not gonna pressure him to talk. It's true. I wouldn't mind hearing that smooth Scottish accent. Oh. Anyways, I'm gonna go, but I'll try to have some stuff for Old Jersey next time I'm here. Sounds good. We'll be back again Monday, 8 p.m. Central. Sorry, we got a little distracted with the whole Discord thing, but I'll try to get one from my sister for the next one. Sounds good. What is wrong with y'all? Jesus. Yeah, that was not it. You envision Angry Meatball as the father from How to Train Your Dragon? What? Angry Meatball, have you watched How to Train Your Dragon? Wow, we got really off topic. We got really distracted. Like, I mean, it's kind of like we're building a town, We're all. He lives here. What is wrong with you? Not you, Angry Meatball. I'm talking about Moon Spiders. You haven't seen it. Basically, they assume because you're Scottish that you sound like the characters. The characters off of that movie. Do you have a thick accent though? Just out of curiosity. If we ventured this far off the course, we may as well play into it for a little bit. No, I was asking Angry Meatball if he has a thick Scottish accent. Here's the thing, like most immigrants, I've got an American voice I can do, like a business voice. Fair enough. Fair enough. That's kind of what I expected. Unlike a couple of the idiots in my Discord. What? That's my month. That's my month because it's February? Okay. That's interesting. Huh? Oh, I matter? Oh, thank you. Oh my god. Angry Meatball says, it's not as thick as some spots have. The accent comes back more when I'm with family than when I'm at work. Makes sense. Makes sense. I'll try not to force it. Yeah, well, he said we'll hear it, when he's able to get the mic. He's not opposed. What is wrong with you? What kind of fucking ASMR just weird shit are you into, bro? Bro, leave my man alone. Angry Meatball doesn't deserve this nonsense from you. Oh my god. First you ask me if I'm willing to cheat on my girlfriend that I don't have with a fan, and then you tell Angry Meatball to whisper to you. Some people choose their friends quite well. Then there's Aiden. Yeah, you were not wrong. You were not wrong. I want everyone to know. I'm gonna put it on the record. This is not the first time that I thought like, holy shit, what have I done with my selection of friends? And it won't be the last that he makes me think it either. But yeah, yeah, I'll never get rid of you. I never would want to, even as fucking weird as you are. What? You don't have to call me Aiden. Just just don't call me that. I mean, I never said my name was Aiden. My fucking god. This is why I shouldn't have joined the lobby. I knew it. I knew I was gonna get taken for a runaround. But yeah, I I do know them, and I knew that they're actually a bad combination. I think this is the first time they've actually spoken to each other. But they're like two of my more idiotic friends to put in the same room and have feeding into each other. You know. Uh, what the fuck? Why am I looking at the chat and just seeing this bullshit that you're putting with spiders? This is why you shouldn't need a contract to pump someone. I'm starting to agree with you. I'm starting to lean more in favor with your sentiment, angry meatball. Meatball joined just to listen. Oh, he is here. Holy shit. I'm gonna fill up my water real quick, guys. I'll be right back. Oh, it's true. Blue's in here too. All right, I'll be right back. Saturday is. What? How long we've known each other? Uh, it'd be 13. Yeah. What the fuck, man? You threw out my name so easily. Shut up. Oh, I should probably put that. I am back. I'm live, so you guys can see my pretty face. Mm. You know, like the Gold Bowl? I'm sorry, man. I really am. I haven't felt more like D&D grandpa than I have right now listening to you all speak. There's nothing wrong with being the grandpa angry meatball. There's nothing wrong with that at all. Yeah. Yeah, this as as a YouTube video, this is gonna be completely unusable. Very confusing. So, stated for the record that if you oh my fucking god. If you were somehow still here, thank you. Thank you for sticking around. Um, I am so sorry for what the Saturday episode has become. The Saturday episodes always kind of go off the rails a little bit, but this is a little bit more than what I expected. But if you're somehow still here, you definitely should be following. And you should definitely join the Discord so you can have these fulfilling conversations. Fulfilling is a good word. Yeah. Getting a lot of good town and city ideas out of here. It's a good thing that we were so productive in the beginning. Oh, you wanted me to expand on it. Thank you. God damn. How do you what? You can try. You can't. Catboy is the king. Angry Meatball, you're not wrong. Those are the worst Scottish accents that I think anyone's ever heard. You should be able to use a credit card. It's not supposed to be complicated. What the fuck? What is wrong with y'all, man? Even It's True Blue is silently chiming in. What was that? Moon Spiders has tipped $3. Thank you, Moon Spiders. I'm not gonna twerk for you, bro. That's not how that works. This is not that. I'm not Amaranth, bro. This is not that kind of stream. Hopefully, Amaranth doesn't come for me. Yeah, I do. Oh my god. I didn't have to, you know. Oh, okay. let's see. What did you say? Yeah. Oh, there it goes. Port City. All right, we'll work on ports. I was distracted. Okay, I was doing things. Yeah. All right, guys. I I am going to also dip from the chat so I can actually focus on the stream. This was fun though. The ideas and the people who are coming in and out, you know. Uh, yeah, type it in the chat. Make sure you unmute me. All right. It was nice talking to you, Catboy. Yeah, we'll definitely have to do that again sometime. Either on stream, off stream. We'll figure something out. But I definitely would like to do that again with more of my regulars in there and get to, just kind of talk to you guys. That was a lot of fun. With that being said, trying to kind of realign and refocus. Seems like we've had a couple people drop in, hop in, moving about. Welcome to the chat. If you're new here, we are currently working on town and city ideas. Working on Port City. It's where we kind of left off, or where we're going to pick back up from all the chaos. A crescent-shaped harbor. The further south you go, the slimier the city becomes. The crescent is not large. The city is walled. It's a mixed town of orcs, humans, elves that wander the streets because of the bustling economy brought by the successful trading that goes through the city ports. So here's a question. What do they trade? Angry Meatball says, man can only take so much of that at once. I totally understand. I've been taking that for 13 years now. So, True Blue, come back. Voice reveal. Yeah, maybe we'll do that as one of the special streams when I get to affiliate, or when we get some more people, and maybe we'll do voice reveals. It's not really much of a voice reveal for me, because you guys hear my voice the entire stream, but either way. Either way. So, yeah, to that point, what would this port city be importing, exporting? And then, what is a better name than Port City? It's probably quite a few names that are better than Port City, but if anyone's got anything, feel free to drop it in the chat, or if you have any ideas for any of the other towns and cities, let's hear it. Cygnus Rest. Okay. And what do you think their primary good is? Why are why is this harbor so successful? Why are these ports so successful? Before D&D, did you try to follow me? Because I don't think that worked. I got a notification, but I don't think it did anything to Catboy. I'll throw hands. It's True Blue. Why are you throwing hands? What's going on? There should be no hand throwing. Before D&D says no ... which means you did. Don't. That's gross. Spider bitch. Being a spider bitch. Take me outside, ho. I'm so confused. I feel like I'm missing a great deal of context right now. Oh, what the fuck? Angry Meatball disagrees. Alright, throw those hands, girl. Get it. Throw them hands. What happened? No idea. Alright, I got no idea either. So. Moon Spiders, what should your port town export? What's going to be their primary good? I know you're probably in the Discord riling everyone up. As D&D players, we understand that violence solves many problems. It's true. It is oftentimes the main way of solving problems. Meant to be Craig Ferguson or Jerry Butler. But sometimes diplomacy is how you take care of some rats. It's true. It's very true. Sometimes diplomacy is the best way to get rid of a rat. Wow. What a derailment. We got so off track. Craig Ferguson is from your town? That's cool. It's very interesting. At least it gives us like a remote idea as to what you sound like. Tonight's gonna be one of those nights where my brain starts to run empty the closer we get to the end of the night. I did a water fast today because I ate kind of bad earlier in the week. I do not recommend, well, I do recommend water fasting. It's a great way to reset your body, but it's not a super fun day not eating at all, you know? Well, here's a off-topic question that's also kind of on topic. Not really. But what's everyone's favorite food? Cuisine is definitely something that I want to incorporate more into my campaign. No, it's the exact opposite. I only drank water today. It's the only thing that I could have. Nothing but water is exactly right. Yeah. So, not even my energy drink, which made the morning a little rough to start. But I made do. I lived. Here I am. And I'll eat good tomorrow. I'm gonna make steak and eggs tomorrow, so it's gonna be worth it. A good kebab. Kebabs are an interesting one too. Kebab. I'm gonna make this a subtopic since we're a little. Ooh, a fantasy pizza place? Could you imagine? I didn't even spell pizza right. Hell yeah. Meat on rice. What was it called? If it's Ethiopian, there's low likelihood that it's um, like a chain where there'd be multiple, but still interested. Wow, why can I not type? We're just adding letters in places they don't go. Hell yeah, they get their ingredients from the local dungeon thanks to adventurers. Hell yeah. What would we call our fantasy pizza parlor? Hmm. Hmm. It would be a good one. A pizza parlor. Queen of Sheba? I'm gonna look it up. Yeah, it's not. It's only a 4 hour drive. Doubt I'm making it today, but you know, they might be closed by the time I get there. Before D&D, I know you got a name for a fantasy pizza place, so let's hear it. This is exactly the kind of stuff that you would think of. Damn. I haven't had pizza in a minute. Damn, pizza sounds so good. You know, honestly, anything sounds really good right now because I have not eaten. But what's cool about fasting is like you'll have like these peaks and valleys. Like I could eat right now, obviously, because I haven't eaten all day, but I'm not actually like hungry. But like earlier, my stomach was just yelling at me. Has anyone tried the spicy pizza from Pizza Hut? Is it any good? Someone let me know. I'm around pizza every day. I probably smell like pizza when I get home from work. Fair enough. What's your go-to topping? Are there any pineapple haters out there? Because I personally love pineapple on my pizza. Pepperoni and pineapple, yes, that's the go-to combo. Like, actually, that's what I get on my pizza. I'm allergic to pineapple? Oh, shit. Like, how allergic? Like, is it like a really bad reaction? That is sad as true blue. Damn. It makes my throat sore and itchy. Yeah. Pineapple's definitely not worth even like a minor allergic reaction. It's great, but I don't know. I think if there was something, if I was allergic to peanut butter, I think I'd still eat it, to be honest. But I don't think there's anything else that I couldn't give up. It's not like cheese. Bacon, olives, no cheese. Okay. Sacrilege. Damn. You know, everyone likes their pizza a little bit different. Even in New York. I went to New York last year, and, you know, like a lot of places do their pizza different. There's no one right answer, but pepperoni pineapple is the best answer. I'll tell you that right now. Jerry fucks with me and I don't feel like dealing with it anymore. That's fair. That's different. Ooh. Yeah, I'm glad that I don't have any allergic reactions that I know of. I'm very lucky, very fortunate. Because I really couldn't imagine like having to make that choice. And honestly, like if it was minor stuff, I'd probably deal with it more often than not. You know. Oh my god. What are these two children doing? What have I done? I've literally introduced what is effectively a 7 and an 8-year-old together, and now they're off playing. They made their own little voice channel called The Council. I should have known better than to introduce you two together. A raw dog, a glass of milk every day. Join the council chat, Jordan. I blame moon spiders. It's mod only, just for a minute. I don't know that I would have made moon spiders a mod, but Que paso, guys? What's up? No, they can't hear you. I will. We can talk about this later, boys. Oh my god. Yeah, I've literally put my two dumbest friends in the same Discord. I have made a fatal error. I mean, he's right though, you know. I'm sure it was your idea. Actually, honestly, it could be either one of you, which is the worst part. Like they're in there giggling like little girls. Ugh. How many points for $1? If you're talking about the stream boss, every dollar is 200 HP. So Catboy is currently sitting at 400 HP, which means a donation of $2, 2 follows, or any combination of that would create an extreme boss. Take your time, Angry Meatball. You know we'll be here. We've got at least another hour. Yeah, we're about to be in our final hour. What we really need is some follows tonight, though. We had a bunch of people jumping in and out, but we need 13 people, which is an unlucky number in and of itself. So, but 13 people to get to 50. Regardless of what the little bar says, it's 2 down right now. So if you guys know anyone who would be a good fit to this little collective of world builders and, you know, idiotas, then send them my way. Ooh. I haven't set the food. Okay. Well, it's a little bit slower. I'm gonna take some notes. If you guys have anything to throw out, you know the drill. I am here. Feel free to message me. I'm excited for the next one, though. I think it'll be interesting to see what creature ideas we can come up with. That Cyclops one that Autumn picked out is pretty interesting to expand upon. So hopefully we can get a good amount of ideas like that. Does anyone have a favorite D&D monster? Mine's probably the Mind Flayer. Just because it's so iconic. That or a dragon. You know, those are... Oh, shit. Before D&D donated $2 and said, A wetback has entered the chat. What the fuck? Alright. Yeah, I mean, it's better than Karen, that's for sure. You know, like, I'd rather have it be before D&D than Karen D&D, which is, it's marginally better. Well, this is the first time that we've had two stream bosses, or two changes in stream boss, I should say, so congratulations to Before D&D for being the new stream boss. Long may he reign. Or not. I wouldn't mind if someone took him out right away. Knock him down a peg. But thank you for the donation Before D&D. It is much appreciated. And thank you for letting everyone know a wetback has entered the chat. I think technically you were already here, but, you know, either way. You are captain now. Is that what you want me to call you? Stream captain until someone dethrones you? They won't. That's what you said about Karen. And how'd that turn out? I will reign supreme forever. What's your first decree as stream captain? Frisbee throws the stream crown at Before D&D. Whew. I bet you he makes it a week. Makes it 2 streams. Catches it. What's a good race for a smuggler? And to answer your question, do I have any ideas you want to share? I mean, I have a lot of ideas that I'd like to share, but I have to be careful not to share ideas that are things that I can't let my players know about. So if you guys have questions about my campaign, I will attempt to answer them. But that's why I usually try not to go into too much detail about the campaign. I'll dip. No, you don't have to dip, because all you're going to do is switch to a different account or try to you're not going to actually dip. Why would one race be better smuggler than another? No one expects a lowly halfling. Kind of racist. I mean, it's not racist. I just asked what would be a good race, you know? Like, I'm asking for inspiration. But halfling is a good option. I like that. I'm just prepping my one shot. What's a good race? Yeah, man, that's what I said. Alright, you got a problem with it? I know you're the last one who should be talking about racism right now. MLK didn't die for this. You're right. Oh, that's why you said in February, too. Oh, my God. Like, you guys are, at this point, full-blown butt buddies. The Amazing Race. But yeah. I mean, we got an hour left. It doesn't really seem like town ideas are trickling in, which is fine. But if you guys have, I'd be cool to do a Q&A. If you guys have questions about the campaign that I'm writing, that'll get my brain flowing a little bit where I don't pass out from lack of food. So let's do that. Let's do for this last hour. We'll definitely still take ideas as they come in. But for anyone who is out there listening, if you have questions about my campaigns, whether it be the current one I'm writing or my past campaigns, drop those in the chat. And let's talk about that. Why don't we? Even you before D&D, feel free to ask questions. I will not guarantee that I will answer the questions, but I will do my best. All right, first question from Catboy Tad says, so what kind of tech level do you go for? It's kind of a mixed bag. So the technology has not trickled down very well. And what I mean by that is the first generation of people that lived in the world had a very high technological level, right, by comparison to the current generation of people, which would be the third generation. So there are artifacts or remnants of their technological feats, some of which have been recovered and are usable both by the party and then throughout the world. And others that are not, or maybe they're there but they don't really understand what they do. But like a common example, the best example is that flying ships would be something that exists currently in the world. There are histories and books from the First Age that suggest that the scale at which that generation could get objects to fly was such that they would have literal castles in the sky, right? Like, so full-blown structures that could float and rest at will and move at will. So yeah, I would say it's like the technology is still fantasy-esque, right? Like, there's not going to be laser beams or spaceships, but there are fantastical versions of high-level technology that exist. It's just also not something that everyone necessarily has access to. And it was once even better than what the world currently has access to. If that answers the question, kind of. Hopefully. Yeah, I think technology is always interesting. There will definitely be new wonders that are being built as well in the world when the campaign actually starts. There will be the occasional genius who comes up with a great idea. And there will even be things that the third generation does better than the first. But the first is also the oldest generation, so... Shrimp Captain, what are you doing, man? My 7-year-old Shrimp Captain. Have there been any big cataclysms? Yes, there have been 2. So I've talked about it a little bit, but the the backstory of the world is that um, there are seven deities, and from the seven deities, they kind of created uh, the foundations of the world, and they brought life to the world. So that life that spawned through their creation created the first generation of people. After an undetermined, because I haven't decided exactly how long I want it to be yet, but after an undetermined amount of time, the first reclamation happened, which is a cataclysmic event that basically reset the clock, started the world over from near zero, um, and was, obviously, as the name suggests, cataclysmic. Um, so then a second generation was created after the reclamation that grew, learned, developed a second language, um, did some things better than the first, did some things worse, never really achieved the glory of the first generation before a second reclamation occurred. And so the same thing, clock reset, everything was wound back, and now a third generation of peoples have existed, I'm thinking, for roughly 4,000 years at this point, that have kind of started the process of doing some of these same things. But the prophecies say that a third reclamation would mean the end of the world. So it's kind of one of the larger mysteries within the world. It's not meant to be the main focus, but it is a optional mystery for the players to solve, in that trying to uncover and understand what the reclamations were, who or what caused them, what would potentially cause a third one to happen, and would it truly be the end of days were it to happen. Chilling with moon spiders. You must have made a good impression on him. Moon spiders is hard to. He doesn't make friends well, believe it or not. If that surprises anyone, he's not the biggest on making new friends. He's a little shy, is what it really is. Whew. Can't wait to eat tomorrow. Who the fuck you talking about? Are you talking about me? Yes, I'm talking about you, moon spiders. I mean, you're both actually shy. You're both very similar dumbasses. Sounds cool. Probably the biggest mystery in my world would be why resurrection spells no longer work. That is, that's a pretty big mystery, because it's a very specific one too. They do not come across as shy. Yeah, that's usually how it goes, They act tough, but they're soft on the inside. They're probably both very butthurt that I outed them, and probably are denying it, even though it's absolutely true. Cowboy knows me better than you. Sure, whatever you say. Whatever you say. You can try to lie to yourself, but you can't lie to me. I don't think I'm shy. Sure. Just don't like people. Says the future comedian. We got a lot of lurkers, but it's a good crowd overall. So I appreciate you guys hanging out. We're getting into the wind down portion of the stream, so we'll be doing this Q&A for about another 50 minutes. If you have ideas, feel free to continue dropping them. If you got questions, feel free to continue dropping them. Otherwise, I'm going to be here writing, reading, / trying not to fall asleep, to be honest. Maybe I'll look at some disc plates. That'll help wake me up too. Let me go ahead and read out some of the stuff I need to cover for tonight real quick. Alright, so if you're here, like I always say, and you are not following, please make sure to click that follow button. We only need 13 more people to reach 50. Trying to be there before March, so got a little over a week to get it done. If you know anyone who you think would like this content, make sure to share it with them. And make sure to check out the links below my profile. There's a lot of good stuff there between the podcast that I do with Before D&D, our Discord if you want to actually communicate with us on a more regular basis and not just wait for each stream. If you've missed any of the streams, if you haven't been here for every single episode, which I don't blame you, you can check out the VODs on YouTube or actually check out the docs for whatever we create, as I do post it on the Discord. If you're so inclined, you can check out my merch store or leave a tip if you're feeling like taking over Before D&D's spot. But otherwise, thanks for just being here. That's all I really ask for. Catboy Tad says, what level of interaction do the gods have with mortals? Next to none. Next to none. Outside of being a source for divine power to those who believe in them, they are next to non-existent. They, how do I say this? They supposedly walked the world before the first reclamation, meaning that they were much more interactive with the people at that time. But after the first reclamation, that apparently changed. I like persons, but I hate people. As soon as folks begin to cluster, when they begin to clot, they start to change. They sacrifice the beauty of the individual for the sake of the group. George Carlin. It was great. Gods in my setting are sorted into civil and uncivil based on whether or not they will commune with their high-level clergy. Angry Meatball, we're kind of doing a Q&A. I don't know if you heard me say that since you stepped away, but if you have any questions about the campaign or even my previous campaign, because obviously I'm a little bit more at liberty to drop spoilers for that one as well, feel free to drop them in the chat. Exactly. Gods are busy. They got their own shit to deal with. Before D&D says, tell them about the negative rift. You mean that made-up thing that you try to insist happened when it didn't? I'm good. I did not, but I'll try to think of a question. No rush. Just figured since it's we've got a little lull, we got people here, but not a lot of town ideas coming in. to view here. This is probably our biggest dock, in large part thanks to Catboy. So we've already got plenty of ideas. Catboy says the gods in mine are too busy keeping a much more powerful god sealed away to interact with mortals. See? Gods have things to do. My gods are kind of busy too. I can't say with what. But they are busy. They're not just doing nothing. Or are they? Who knows? But yeah, before D&D, we both know the negative rift is not a thing. The negative rift was a joke in a one-shot. That's all it was. It was a man floating in the sky, shouting "Flash." Catboy said, or excuse me, Angry Meatball says to Catboy, similar in mind, they have an entity occupied and they're trying to come up with ideas to kill it so the thing doesn't eat them. It's eaten a number of gods already. Shit. Anything that can eat gods is a big problem. It's probably got a big appetite too. It does. Let's see. What am I gonna buy next? I don't have any more money to be buying stuff, but let's see. It's the Eldritch thing that sort of lives in one of my PC's heads. Oh. That's terrifying. Tell me this poster doesn't look good though. I think I'm probably gonna get this one eventually. Like, that shit is so pretty. Yeah, that one's going on the list. For sure. Okay, I'll look into that right now. Why not? Why not look into it right now? No time like the present. Engalirium. I think I found who I'm going to use for my, well, I'm going to have someone do a drawing for my new logo. Once I actually start this new job and have money. Wow, these are really nice. Catboy says, I actually made the big beds for my first campaign gods, and my new one, they destroyed their original universe and made one of their own, but that powerful god was required to do so. Excuse me. Unfortunately, it's pretty into destruction, so they had to seal it away after creating the new world. Sick. Did you watch The Count of Monte Cristo? No, because you were supposed to rent it for me, so how would I have watched it? You know, that was the agreement, is that I was going to watch it when you rented it, which you have not done. Damn, you know, it sounds delicious right now. Some Whataburger. And for those who don't know what Whataburger is or have a Whataburger in their area, I'm sorry. Y'all are missing out. Truly. God, that sounds so good. Wow. This art is insane. Emanation of empathy. One of the characters I played had the most eldritch of beings as a patron, the DM. That's how it was in my campaign with before D&D. The DM was his literal patron. Bro, this guy's art is absolutely insane. Yeah, he is. He is definitely a master of imagination. Catboy says it went well. My character was always getting annoyed whenever his patron would talk to him, which was often. As a person I hear he's kind of a twat, but his merch arrives, so who cares? Well, you know. Not always gonna be a nice guy as well as a great artist. Unfortunately. As long as he's not a twat to me. That's so wild. Hey, good for him, though, you know. Making stuff of this caliber. That's a real talent. Where are there dogs outside barking? What's going on? Let's see. I got a little over 30 minutes, guys. Feel free to drop those questions. Otherwise, I'm going to keep looking at art. I'm just trying to keep my brain moving. Because as soon as we get off this stream tonight, I'm hitting the bed. I'm hitting it hard. Same. Oh shit. That's a good Rengoku. Yes, I know we didn't focus too much on it earlier, so I'll circle back to it. Yu Yu Hakusho was an incredible show, Catboy. I know you said you thought it was good earlier. The stream ends at 1 a.m. for you? Shit. You're a champion. You truly are a champion. But yeah, Yu Yu Hakusho, I rewatched it a couple summers ago. And I just remember like I watched it as a kid, so I remember thinking like it was gonna be like rewatching it as an adult, it was gonna be like a lot more. How do I say this? Like if you go back and you rewatch Dragon Ball Z, if you watched it as a kid, it doesn't like hit the same. At least not for me, unless you're just like really hyped into Dragon Ball Z. But bro, Yu Yu Hakusho, that's a good show. It doesn't matter how old you are. It's just a good show. Do different races mostly live apart, or do they blend and communicate? Um, it depends on the area. So one of the things that happens in more, not necessarily more religious, but more closed-minded communities in the world is that there are some people, racism is a thing. There are some people who believe that the gods did not create the quote unquote inferior races, right? So if you're a human and you believe orcs weren't created by the gods, you look down upon them. But there are also plenty of areas within the world, and the majority of the world as a whole is a melting pot. There are just little pockets where they don't mix well. So for the most part, yeah, they're gonna blend. Maybe like to varying degrees though, is how I'd put it. Is there some places where if you're like one of 6 races, you're cool. There are some places where any race goes, and then there's some places where it's like, yeah, this is humans only or dwarfs only, or there's a little bit of everything. Yeah, I thought that one was pretty cool. Like, some of this artwork is really hit or miss, Like, it sometimes it'd be hidden, though. So they got, like, everything on here. Ooh, a Mob Psycho one? I don't know if anyone's watched Mob Psycho 100, but that's, I honestly liked parts of Mob Psycho better than One Punch Man, which is probably an unpopular opinion. Do you have stories of legendary heroes that people tell, myths and legends that get passed down either inspired by reality or entirely fictional? Yes, that is definitely something I need to work on more. Maybe that was actually what I was thinking about. I was thinking about it yesterday, as a matter of fact, is that's something that maybe we do as a deep dive, because I do have a couple of different ones in mind. Um, but I really want there to be like a pretty good breadth of lore in regards to legendary figures or heroes. But it's hard because, yeah, like a more specific character deep dive in the sense that it would be like tailored to being like, let's create legendary characters, if that makes sense. Um, because what happens a lot, like one of my bad habits, it's not necessarily a bad habit, but when I think of characters personally, I always think about how I can insert them directly into the story, like not necessarily directly into the story, but into the campaign in a live sense, right, where I can get to role play them. um, so that sometimes takes away from me thinking of character concepts that are a little bit more maybe abstract, where like, or like their actions already done and it's up to the player's interpretation of what they're going to think of that character. And um, you know, depending on what culture you come from, obviously a character can be a hero or a villain. So yeah, that's definitely going to have to be one we do maybe in a couple weeks after we do the monster deep dive. We can do legendary heroes. That would be cool. That would be a cool one. Great question. Yeah, some of these Demon Slayer ones are insane. What is the afterlife like? I can't talk about that. I can't. I can't confirm those details with my player in the chat. But there is plenty of interpretations. Yeah, I mean, I'm not gonna reveal that. There is an answer. It's not something that I haven't thought of, but there there is something that happens when a creature or character passes away. It is a little different from the traditional sense of what D&D typically does. But I will confirm that there is the potential for, like, hold on, let me think about that before I say anything. I think I've asked this before, but is there a commonly accepted creation myth? Yes, the commonly accepted creation myth is the seven deities representing, each representing a holy virtue, being, let's see if I can do it off the top with my brain half off: passion, patience, prudence, aspiration, admiration, conviction, and mercy are the seven holy virtues. So there's one God for each virtue. Each of the gods created an aspect of the world itself. So in the beginning, the world existed and these seven figures existed. So the seven painted the world with their brush, making the world that we have today. Um, and then after each of them had kind of put their paint stroke or brushstroke on the world, they then created the first life, which took the form of the Blessed Mother, is what they call her. So, from the Blessed Mother, all of the quote-unquote natural races were born, which is up to interpretation what the natural races mean or who was born from those natural races. But as far as what people think, one of the most commonly accepted beliefs is that you go to the heavens because one of the gods in the creation myth created the heavens. So it's believed that each of the seven have their own throne or home within this heavenly realm. And when you die, if you served the gods faithfully, whether it's one in particular or all seven, you will be blessed with entering the heavens in your afterlife. So I think that kind of answers both questions. That's what most people believe. But it mostly depends on their faith, like in real life. That's a question I actually should answer with my world. Mortals that have no clue what actually happens when you die. Yeah. I mean, that's, and really no one has a clue, right? Like, it's all... The only difference with D&D is that people can be brought back and that you can sometimes go to these places that are supposedly reserved for after death. So it makes it a little bit different. But it is very interesting. I will say that. Will if your God speak to you in any capacity, you can potentially find out. Yes, true. This is also true. It's one of the things that makes D&D tricky, to not just follow like the cookie cutter recipes for afterlife. But yeah, it's definitely interesting. That was one of the hardest concepts for me to determine, but one I knew I needed to do very early on, because I needed to concretely decide what was going to happen when people died. And obviously there are the interjectors, right? Like if you have a devil that you made a deal for your soul with, your soul is going to go to that devil. That's not something that's new or unique, but obviously the average person isn't going to I don't know what I was saying, but I think you guys knew. I think y'all get the point. On a related note, do you use... let me read Angry Meatballs first. Each of my civil gods tells mortals that something different happens upon death. They are all lying. Fair enough. On a related note, do you use the regular planar cosmology? I mean, there's a sun and a moon. I've considered changing that, like maybe putting a twist on it, but I'm not really... I haven't really come up with a good, compelling reason to do so. I wouldn't say that there's necessarily other planets, or they have no reason to believe that there are other planets beyond the Earth, Sun, and Moon, being the planar bodies. There are stars, of course, but there's no confirmed other planetary bodies. Oh, sorry. Keep in mind my brain is at half capacity. Yeah, I'm still debating on the changes to the planar order, but yes, as of right now, it'll use the same fundamental uh, planes of existence. So there'll be a Feywild, there'll be a Shadowfell, there'll be an Abyss and a Nine Hells, there'll be the Elemental Planes, there'll be an Astral Sea. They'll all be a little different from what you would typically expect for different reasons, but they do all exist. As of right now, I might change some of them, but I may. One thing I may do is I may actually combine the Abyss and the Nine Hells together into one thing. They're already kind of obviously very closely connected, but I may just jam them together. Though I don't always utilize the Blood War. Yeah, same here. Like I think the Blood War is an interesting concept, but I think there's a lot to be potentially gained if you're gonna play into those tropes or play into uh, devils and demons if they work together in certain situations. In our extended play chase adventures over the years, we've gone to a lot of outer planets. They can be fun. Sigil is good. It's just crazy. The literal universes, or, you know, literal planets within a universe exist like that. You know? Oof. Alright, guys, we got 17 minutes. We're in that final countdown. But there is still time. If you've got an idea, drop it in the chat. If you've got a question, drop it in the chat. If you're not following, follow. If you haven't said anything the whole time, say hello. Bro, whoever is making these Demon Slayer posters knows what they are doing. Jurassic World Dominion looks amazing. What is Jurassic World Dominion? Is there some kind of widespread popular media, or is such mostly kept local? Most of it would remain local. When you're saying media, do you mean more so in like terms of a news or information outlet, or for entertainment purposes? Because I'm sure the answer is similar, but it's a little bit different depending on where you go. Either or. I'm still debating on it. There'll be newspapers and uh, yeah, I have a concept, potential concept for like a pretty robust news service throughout one of the regions of the world. But for the most part, it's going to be local, be regional. Because I haven't quite pinned down how to make it meaningful, and I don't really like to do those like bigger kind of difficult concepts unless I feel like they actually add value. So yeah, as of right now, for the most part, it's going to be local. There will be a coliseum though that people will travel in order to be able to see. And obviously there will be the traveling troops of performers. Yeah, I mean, it would to a certain degree. You're absolutely right. And that's part of my hesitation to try to do anything like that because what are you really, like, what information are you really adding on a consistent basis? I just like the idea. But that's how a lot of ideas go. You think of something and it's cool, but maybe not entirely practical. The newspaper is always fun. Let the players know the results of their actions. Yeah, that's kind of the approach that I was thinking of taking with him. Like that the how am I trying to say this? Yeah, that they can basically like thinking of the newspaper as a way for them to see the consequences of their actions, both positive and negative, um, through the context of like here's a news article where and like I like the concept because like you could do like the little things. I don't know, like if they steal from a shop owner, like you could get really detailed with it and make it kind of humorous, where they can look back and see like, oh, that was me. But you also don't want it to only be that because then otherwise it's just a trope. Seed and adventure hooks, wanted ads, rumors. That's a good idea. That's a good idea. Give optional side quests that can be found through those things. That's good. This is less about the world and more your DM style. Do you prefer a lot of traveling around or staying in one place for a while? A little bit of both. I definitely prefer keeping the players to a region, like a set of a handful of towns or locales or things like that, within a certain, like for a certain amount of time. Kind of an Angry Meatballs point. I don't necessarily have a specific preference. If it serves the story better, that's really what the catalyst is, right? You know, like it's whatever they want to do ultimately, and whatever actions they're taking that's going to determine what I do in response. I definitely don't want them to travel. Like from a fun standpoint, I don't want to set up situations where they travel for a week in game and then get somewhere and it takes them 5 minutes of role playing to finish what they needed to do, and then they go and they travel to the next place. So wherever they go, I want what they do to be meaningful, and have it be relative to the amount of time that it takes them to get there. But ultimately, um, there's no. I'm not going to be upset if they try to move around. And I'm also not going to be upset if they stay in a place because they're enjoying it, because it gives me more time to hone in on some of the characters and, I'm pretty open. I'm pretty open. But yeah, I just want the time that they spend anywhere to be like valuable. Sometimes that's a session, sometimes it's half a session, sometimes it's 6 sessions. Oh. But yeah, to Aaron Meatball's point, you gotta let the players run wild because they will try regardless. They're pretty much gonna run wild almost regardless of what you do. So it's better just let the gates open than let the gates be broken. Alright. We're down to our last handful of minutes, so if you guys are still here, y'all are awesome. Make sure you click that follow button if you haven't already so you can receive an alert on Monday when we go back live. Next week's stream category is monsters and creatures. So feel free to bring your monster or creature ideas on Monday and Wednesday. We'll be live from 8 p.m. Central Time to 12 p.m. Central Time, talking about ideas and preparing ourselves for next Saturday when we will do our deep dive. If you are not already in our Discord server, then I really don't know what you're doing because that's the best place to be. If you want to see these great ideas that we've talked about and have access to the Word document or just talk to these fine folks outside of stream hours, that's what you need to do. If you're so inclined that you want to go back and watch previous episodes, you can do so by checking out the YouTube link on my Twitch page. Definitely appreciate any likes or follows there that are given, but I understand that, especially with it not being like the benefit of being able to talk to you guys live in the moment is a little lost in the YouTube videos. So, and then last and certainly not least is we do have a podcast. Second episode will be recorded this Tuesday and should be up in about a week. If you want to check out that first episode, it is a little how do I say, introductory. It's a good word. It's a nice way of saying it. Not a lot going on, but we're introducing the concept of what we want the podcast to be so we can get people's feedback. Moonspider says, where's your display promo code? That's a great question. I wonder if they do have an affiliate program. They probably do. I'm sure people plug it on YouTube. That's how they got to. Look it up. Why not? I mean, I've been doing unpaid promotion for them forever. And by forever, I mean like these last 2 streams. Interesting. Let me try it from my phone. They do have an affiliate thing. And I can get y'all a discount code. Email them. Speaking of monsters, you know what would be a great to run into? A house mimic. Great for the DM or great for the party? Mimics are one that I want to play with though. I'm gonna put that on there. Like, look, we gotta work on some mimic ideas as part of next week for sure. Because mimics are just cool, but they're like, in their typical form, they're so tropey, you know, that like every D&D player knows to be afraid of the treasure chest mimic. So I'd love to workshop some creative variants for that. That would be fun. Alright, Moon Spiders, I have officially emailed Displates. They'll probably just send me a laughing emoji as a response. You could also have really tiny mimics. Like, how small are you thinking? Like, mimics the size of ants? Or a little bigger than that? Ooh. Coin mimics, holy shit. There you go. You and Angry Meatball are on the same page. That's pretty impressive. Oof. Coin mimics. What would a coin mimic do? Like, would it still be able to eat you? Eat treasure. Fair enough. Fair enough. You put it in your coin purse. That would suck. Found a bag full of platinum coins, or did you? Oh shit. That'd be wild. Pretending to be a bag full of coins, or even just pretending to be the coins themselves. Yeah, because how many coins could it pretend to be at the same time? Just one? Imagine you fucking have a mimic eat all your coins and then just sitting there pretending like it didn't do anything. Oh, a bag full of mimics. Holy shit. That would suck. Alright, guys. It is about that time. Because I'm tired. And it's 12 o'clock, basically. Yeah, it is 12 o'clock, actually. So, thank you to everyone who turned in tonight. Huge thank you to all my regulars for stopping in and helping us put together some town names along with some interesting and off-topic banter. But I will be back Monday Central Time, 8 p.m. I look forward to seeing you all then. So, thanks again, and have a great night. Peace.